came in for a hernia operation. They cut off one of my nuts by mistake.
Say what?
They said I didn't need it anymore.
How do you go?
That's the cat did me. Make sure you cover up them jewels.
No! No!
What's up, guys? It's your boy Benny, small business owner here, and I have people that I work with, and I like working with them, but sometimes they don't show up to work, right? Vacation, get sick, you gotta call out. That's just how it works, right? That's just the cycle of life, and that's okay. We have a successful company, and I like this company, but you know, them's just the breaks. Sometimes people can't show up for work, myself included. And so you deal with that in a responsible way. You don't just not show up, though, if you don't feel like it. And you don't just kind of disappear from your job. And that's how you get fired, right? Especially in my company. So you can't just disappear at a company like ours that just does, you know, internet videos and commentary. But what if you were working for the biggest company in the world? What if you were in charge of the biggest expenditure of money in humanity? And what would that be? The Pentagon. That is precisely what has happened, ladies and gentlemen, at our Pentagon, as the Secretary of Defense, Lloyd Austin, decided to simply disappear for the entire month of January. Nobody knew where the hell he was. Reporters had to start asking questions like, where the hell is this guy? Turns out that Lloyd Austin was undergoing, as head of the Department of Defense, right? He's defense secretary, overseeing the multi-billion-dollar budgets of the Department of Defense. Lloyd Austin just straight up like disappeared because he didn't feel good. Not just that, because he was suffering severe trauma from a cancer that hadn't even been announced. Now we're like fighting multiple proxy wars right now. We're facing threats from all around the globe: China, Iran, Russia, Ukraine, Hamas, terrorist threats on our southern border. We're spending more than we've ever spent in our military. And the guy who's supposed to be running the Department of Defense just doesn't show up. Is in the hospital and nobody knows about it. Let's read, ladies and gentlemen. Lloyd Austin, 70, was treated for prostate cancer before a secret hospital trip. Pentagon admits it should have revealed the details of an ICU visit and will take immediate actions to address transparency. Oh, that's really wonderful. Really glad that we're paying for all of this. Lloyd Austin was taken by ambulance because he was in pain so severe, but the White House had no idea. Pentagon faces more questions as Biden administration refuses to reveal what procedure put him in the ICU. This was the headline from yesterday. The White House was not even informed that Austin would have surgery on December 22nd. So he had surgery on December 22nd for prostate cancer. The White House wouldn't say if Biden knew what ailment Austin was. Like, Biden's not even in charge, so it just doesn't really matter, actually. White House made clear that Austin has Biden's backing as lawmakers on both sides of the aisle question whether the defense secretary has kept this condition secret. Even more, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin could have broken the law by failing to reveal secret hospital stay and surgery. Pentagon launches full investigation into his ICU visit that went unnoticed for 5 days. What the F? Let's go. What's going on?
In the last hour, this incident now forcing the White House to launch a review of protocols for cabinet secretaries, if you can believe that. Secretary Austin is still in recovery, we are told, at Walter Reed, and the Pentagon is not offering any information about that elective procedure that originally sent him into the hospital, but ultimately landed him in the ICU.
Even the Deputy Defense Secretary still doesn't know why he went into the hospital. The Secretary oversees an $800 billion agency with U.S. troops stationed around the globe. And from the time that Austin was admitted to the ICU to when he resumed his duties, Iranian proxies attacked U.S. troops in the Middle East 8 times.
All right, a lot of...
So how incompetent is this administration? I mean, how perilous is our nation under the diversity, equity, and inclusion regime of Joe Biden? Let's read. Lloyd Austin was hospitalized to be treated for prostate cancer, the Pentagon revealed on Tuesday after days of criticism hiding the defense secretary's secret hospitalization. On December 22nd, after consultation with his medical team, he was admitted to Walter Reed National Medical Center and underwent minimally invasive surgical procedure. So he was getting cut up in the hospital. There's no such thing as minimally invasive prostate surgery. His cancer was diagnosed early and his prognosis is excellent. Yeah, right. But he also suffered complications on January 1st that required an ambulance to take him to the hospital. His complication included nausea and severe abdominal hip pain. The early diagnosis was a urinary tract infection, but further examination showed Austin 70 had fluid buildup in his abdomen, impairing the function of his small intestines. So this guy was laid up. The Secretary of Defense was literally out of commission during multiple wars that America is engaged in, and nobody knew, including the president, the commander-in-chief. The infection was treated by a tube placed through the nose that went down into his stomach. So again, this guy is not operational. Infection has cleared, the statement said, and Austin continues to make progress. He never lost consciousness or underwent general anesthesia. Yes, he did, the statement said, although Austin underwent anesthesia during the surgery. So he was under anesthesia. He was literally unconscious in a medically induced coma, and nobody knew anything about it. What the hell? What a just absolute dumpster fire of incompetence. Is the Pentagon reacting to this? Well, they trotted out their greasy little cretin to try and answer these questions. Why would you keep, so it's $800 billion organization, why would you keep this information secret from the public? You've now been engaging in a cover-up for 3 straight weeks.
The department recognizes the understandable concerns expressed by the public, Congress, and the news media in terms of notification timelines and DoD transparency. And I want to underscore again that Secretary Austin has taken responsibility for the issues with transparency, and the department is taking immediate steps to improve our notification procedures.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's really not comforting.
The statement. As part of Secretary Austin's routinely recommended health screening, he has undergone regular prostate-specific antigen PSA surveillance. Changes in his laboratory evaluation in early December 2023 identified prostate cancer, which required treatment.
And it is now January 9th, and you're just telling us this. I'm not a great math whiz, but December 22nd to January 9th. So you kept this from the American people for almost a month. Basically, the Secretary of Defense had prostate cancer and wanted to cover it up from the public and the president. Then he got an infection from the surgery and continued to cover it up while in the hospital, endangering U.S. national security. Should have been fired a week ago. Wow. Big news update from Austin's doctors said Austin was diagnosed and treated for prostate cancer in December, which led to an infection. It seems, quite frankly, like you were deceived by telling everyone that was an elective medical procedure. It doesn't seem elective if he had prostate cancer and he was treating it. We could have done a better job last week. This is the Pentagon lying to you. It's not an elective procedure if you have prostate cancer that will kill you. The craziest part of that Lloyd Austin scandal, Biden went a full work week without talking to his Secretary of Defense. And that's viewed as normal. Yeah, this is such a dark condemnation on the Biden regime and how they operate. One common side effect of a urinary tract infection approximates dementia. Patients often don't know where they are, who they are, or even how to do basic functions of necessary life. During this period of Austin's treatment, the U.S. was engaged in ongoing military actions overseas. Which civilian official was in charge of those? What, if any, orders was given by Austin during that potentially not sound state of mind? Congress needs to investigate every single communication to and from Austin and his entire office over the extent of this period. Who was giving orders? And under what authority? This is a DEFCON 1 scandal. There's been a deceitful cover-up operation surrounding Austin's medical condition for weeks now. People need to lose their jobs, commissions, and go to prison. Yeah, they're saying that this was illegal. Look at this, dated January 9th. They're telling us dated January 9th, something that happened 3 weeks ago. That has direct implication to our national security. Insanity. Okay, let's read. How is this illegal? Broken the law. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin could have broken the law by failing to report his absence, the latest twist in the saga of a hospitalization illness. Meanwhile, the Pentagon has launched a full investigation in the matter. And one Republican filed articles of impeachment. Austin remains at Walter Reed, but is out of the ICU. Oh, wonderful. Joe Biden backs him up. Oh, okay. So how is this illegal? Let's find out. Chief of Staff has ordered a 30-day investigation. The matter was not referred to the Defense Department Inspector General's office for an independent review. It will be led by Jennifer Walsh, Pentagon's Director of Administration Management. But she's been ill with the flu and was unaware that Austin had been hospitalized. So the entire Pentagon is sick. Oh, great. I'm sure Russia is like just laughing their asses off, quite frankly. So it doesn't immediately jump into how it was, how asked if Austin directed any of his staff to withhold information. Oh, that's how it is. Okay, so if you were trying to cover it up, if it was an act of cover up. He answered indirectly saying, this is one of the things we've been looking at in terms of process improvements. Legal experts told Reuters that Austin may have violated U.S. law on reporting of vacancies that requires the head of executive agencies to submit to the comptroller, the United States, and the House, and each House of Congress, any vacancies in the name of the person filing the vacancy. The Comptroller General would then relay the information to the President in the Office of Personnel Management. The law is largely procedural, but does not spell out any penalties for lapses. Austin would likely face only a reprimand from Biden. Meanwhile, the Marine Corps announced late Monday that its Commandant, General Eric Smith, underwent a successful open heart surgery. So everyone's just like sick and laid up and like getting new hearts and getting cancer. But here's the thing we're definitely sure of. That Secretary Austin did not get COVID. Here's why. Because he dresses like Darth Vader and forces everyone to double and triple mask around him. Well done, Secretary. Stunning and brave. Interestingly enough, members of the Trump administration were on earlier today saying, if this had happened to us, if we had done this, like everyone would be fired. Like the entire administration would be done for.
It just strikes me as odd that we need new procedures about notifying when someone is hospitalized who's a cabinet member. Aren't these things already on the books, and don't they need to just actually carry out the understanding all of this that's already in existence?
Right. Well, there's a reason this has never happened before, Martha. It's because the policies and procedures that are already in place are sufficient. And, you know, I appreciate Secretary Austin saying that, you know, he's taking responsibility, but he can't take responsibility for nobody noticing that he was missing. And when there's 13 attacks on U.S. troops over a course of a few days and nobody is having a conversation about what to do about that, again, it makes a statement that's larger than about Secretary Austin. It makes it about this entire national security team. And maybe they do care, but they're giving the impression that they don't, that American men and women in uniform are in harm's way and no one's even having a conversation about it. And I think that had this happened in the Trump administration, we all would have been fired and we would have been justified to fire all of us, and the media would still be talking about it.
I think you're probably right about that. Director of National Intelligence in the Trump administration, John Ratcliffe, thank you very much, sir. Always good to have you with us.
Yeah, so please, God, Lord, I pray, bring us back to a time when, like, at the very least, the leadership of this nation is sentient and is not comatose. Like, can we ask for that? Like, what is wrong with us that we are being led by such a diseased witch's kitchen of geriatrics and nursing home patients and sick individuals, sick in the brain, sick in the heart, sick in the soul, and sick in the body? It's amazing how all those things connect. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe. Stay based and show up for work. See ya.